got here. I got Team BC Dub on the left, Tana Grace on Grixis Delver, Ross Merriam on Grixis Phoenix, Brendan DeCandio on Golgari midrange against Chris Lochte playing Burn, David McCollum playing Orzhov Eldrazi Taxes, and then Trevor Inscho, Jeskai midrange. Those are your matchups. That's Chris Lochte, pardon me. This player's been given the green light, and we're going to do this thing.
Let's get to it.
Standard style.
2 main deck Carnage Tyrants here for DeCandio.
It's a good Magic card. Steam Vents to start here for Trevor. For Brennan, it's an Overgrown Tomb. That's another Steam Vents for Trevor. We're going to go back over to Brennan. Team Get Tannen a Trophy is here. 2 second-place finishes for this team already. And unfortunately for Tannen Grace, Brian Basoko and Jonathan Job are here.
Yep.
They've been playing Spoiler a lot recently. So perhaps we'll see them square off later this weekend. Another land there for Trevor. Jeskai mid-range. Looks like it's going to play a Direfleet Daredevil for no value. A little surprised by that play. Not quite sure what the rush is, but looks like he wants to get a little bit of power onto the battlefield. As there's a Jade Light Ranger. Trigger here for DeCandio. He'll explore not once, but twice. Carnage Tyrant is probably good in this matchup, though I'm not sure he wants it just yet.
It's not like the Golgari mid-range deck is that flush with spells. So I sort of get just playing the Daredevil out there. Depends on exactly what you got going on in your hand, what you expect DeCandio to be on, but this one matchup where it probably just gets cast face up a lot.
There's a Clifftop Retreat. So that's land number 4 for Trevor. And no good attacks we have with the Daredevil, so just going to pass the turn back in the face of a 4-3 Jade Light Ranger. As Direfleet Daredevil is a 2-2. Top card. Going to go to the hand, and now Assassin's Trophy is the reveal. There's a Woodland Cemetery that got added to DeCandio's hand. Assassin's Trophy is now the next reveal. So that Jade Light Ranger is going to be a 3-2, and the trophy is also going to stay. Here comes the 4-3 Jade Light Ranger. That's a very, looks like quick block. Wow, okay.
I guess some sort of sweeper.
I assume so.
Clarion Call or some such.
What is this? Okay, now we've got a Wrath Caption Ship's Mage. Okay. We're going to take a look at that. Haven't seen Wrath for a little while. The follow-up is an Adanto Vanguard. Now, Wrath does fly. Know that. Also has flashing. You may cast historic spells as though they had flash. However, Wrath will not be coming into the red zone. There's a Woodland Cemetery. That is the Eldest Reborn.
This is going to be a lot to beat here.
Yeah. That's a very powerful enchantment. Chapter 1, each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Chapter 2, each opponent discards a card. And then Chapter 3, put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So, Jade Light Ranger is going to trade with Wrath. The other Jade Light Ranger is going to come in for 3 points of damage, and I'm very curious to see what Trevor's got going on over there. Because these exchanges thus far for him have not been particularly productive.
They've all been horrible.
Yes. You say it so much more eloquently than I do.
Sometimes it's good to go in the details, and sometimes simplicity is what counts.
That's true. Here's a History of Banala. Chapter 1 is going to yield a 2-2 Vigilant Knight token.
11:30 Modern Challenge players. Your first round pairings are being posted at the gathering point on turquoise paper. Please.
So we'll see what comes after that here for Trevor.
11:30 Modern Challenge players. Your first round pairings are being posted at the gathering point on turquoise paper.
And it'll now be a Resplendent Angel. So some powerful cards have shown up as Direfleet Daredevil will be the discard there from Chapter 2 of the Eldest Reborn, but I don't think these are creatures that DeCandio is going to have much trouble dealing with.
No, I don't think so either. It's just all FTKs. And
that is what Golgari is, Jess. 2-for-1 Isle 3 is where DeCandio lives. He's going to start things off with an attack here with the Jade Light Ranger. That's going to trade with that History of Benalia token. The follow-up is a Cast Down. See you later, Resplendent Angel. And now a Golgari Findbroker, a card that actually hasn't seen a ton of play in Golgari recently.
Well, it's not great against the aggressive strategies. Really good for grinding and kind of like going infinite in the mirror matches. And you see DeCandio's deck here really set up to try to establish those sort of loops with Memorial plus Eldest Reborn, etc.
Eldest Reborn, speaking of which, is going to now return something here from Trevor's graveyard. Put it directly on the battlefield there for Brennan. Maybe not. Maybe he's thinking Jadelight Ranger instead. Okay. So, we're going to explore. There's Fine Finality. DeCandio deciding if he wants to keep that one or not. You see Merriam. Looks like he's getting a little Oracle text from the judge. And Tan and Grace deep in thought in his match.
It's Lyra time.
Well, Lyra Dawnbringer is...
It's actually better than most exchanges. I mean, it was only -1 mana, and DeCandio got to pick up 2 life for his trouble. That's better than taking down a Vivian Reed.
Sure.
Or getting Chupacabra or whatever.
Patrick appears to not be a big believer.
I cannot believe that people showed up at the Pro Tour with that card.
Well, they did. It did not go well.
What do you think? What are you expecting to have happen?
I think it'll be placed into the graveyard or exile a lot. And as you saw Trevor's copy get exiled via Vraska's Contempt. DeCandio very quickly going to draw a card and get in some damage here. No good blocks for Trevor with this 2-2, but it appears as though he will be blocking. And now the follow-up is a very large and angry dinosaur in Carnage Tyrant. DeCandio is very far ahead, and he will win game number 1 here over Trevor Inscho as Golgari midrange very quickly up a game here over Jeskai midrange. The power of black and green cards compels you.
All right, let's go to the sideboard.
Does it not?
I'm more interested in the cards that Brennan is casting.
That's
than
fair.
Trevor. Yeah,
That's fair.
he is definitely suited up for the mirror though. This is kind of an old school, sort of pre-Pro Tour build of the deck.
Well, we're going to start with Trevor and his 15 cards. 3 Sealaways, 3 Negates, 2 Deafening Clarion, 2 Settle the Wreckage, and 5 one-ofs, another Lyra. Yep, just going to go ahead and let that linger. Along with a Lava Coil, a Disdainful Stroke, an Ixalan's Binding, and a Teferi, Hero of Dominaria.
Not a whole lot to be into here. I think the settles are fine. Disdainful Stroke, Teferi, Ixalan's Binding, we're all okay. Couple of okay cards. Bring in the settles, though.
3 Duress, 2 Necrotic Wound, 2 Plague Mare, 2 Fungal Infection, and 6 one-ofs here for Brennan and Vraska Relic Seeker, Wild Growth Walker, another one of those cruel harpooners. A Fine Finality, a Cast Down, and a Golden Demise.
It's weird because Trevor's deck showed up, for Jeskai, basically showed no spells and a bunch of creatures. So I'm not sure you want the Duresses. I'd be interested in some amount of the removal that works, maybe the Necrotic Wounds, the Harpooner, the extra copy of Vraska, and Golden Demise, too.
Well, those are the options there for both players, and they'll be getting ready for game number 2. As you see, DeCandio and Trevor Inscho are getting ready for that second game. Merriam, McCollum still playing, as are Grace and Lochte. So, let's talk very quickly about StarCityGames.com game night, because somehow it's already November, folks, and that means we've got some fun things to talk about in January, kicking off 2019. I'll let you begin here for our first 2 months.
Well, over at go.starcitygames.com/game night, you can find more information out about game night. Short of it is, every month we come out with new pins and tokens we send to the stores that are signed up. Stores can then run these local events any night of the week, any format they want, and give out the pins and tokens to their local player base. In November, we got Rise from the Ashes. That's the pin we're wearing right now. In December, we've shown this one in an earlier broadcast. It's Bramble Hopper Elite. And then, making his debut, as far as I know, January, Perdukin. Okay.
You get it? The cat throwing a fireball, man.
No, it's references an IP unrelated to Magic the Gathering.
Who cares? Also, pins gone next year.
Okay.
Those are gone. Tokens and sleeves.
Oh, okay, cool.
There you go.
All right. Anyhow, go to starcitygames.com/game night. Find out more information. Find the game night closest to you. In stores, if you want to get signed up, contact your Star City Games in-store play representative.
Perdukin plays.
We're done. We're done with the pins.
We're done with the pins.
Yeah, they must have been really expensive to manufacture for reasons that I don't understand, because after every show, you used to demand that I give the pin back to the production team rather than bring it home.
That's right. You can't keep the pins. Now you want to work that out in your contract for
Well,
2019.
I'm keeping this one because
Well,
we have no more November shows.
It has been announced. Rise from the Ashes. That's it. That pin. That's yours now. You win this round. Give it to one of your lovely children to play with.
Oh yeah, they love them.
Yeah, of course.
Love 'em.
See if we have an update on the middle match here. Ross Merriam, he's got that look I've seen before, that confused look, drawing cards after the game. It's unclear if he won. Oh, he looks like he points to himself. Looks like he won. Fair enough. Fair enough. It's DeCandio and Inscho taking a look at their opening hands. Looks like Inscho going to 6 here. And now we're going to get an update here on Tan and Grace's match, as those players are shuffling up as well.
10 a.m. Modern Challenge.
Team BCW all up one, folks.
Pairings are being posted at the gathering point. Please make your way to your seats. Again, 10 a.m. Modern Challenge players.
See if Trevor can find a 6-card hand that he's happy with. Looks like he will. He'll scry. Let's see where these are going to go. Looks like it's going to stay on the top shelf. Trevor will start things off. It'll be an Evolving Wilds. So we head back over to Brennan. Brennan with a Memorial. And now Trevor will sacrifice that Evolving Wilds, figure out what land he wants to get. Memorial to Folly there for Brennan. Make sure I get those Memorial names right. They're starting to actually make their way into Standard a little bit. Couple of copies here and there.
Yeah, I mean they kind of, in the Golgari deck, they work sort of, even if you're not doing anything in particular with it, you've got spots to play lands that are in the battlefield tapped, and you have a bunch of great creatures with enter the battlefield triggers and so on. And then particularly alongside the 4-drop, you can set up some loops that are very hard to get out of.
Let's head back over to Trevor now for his second turn of the game as he searched up an island with that Evolving Wilds. Does he have land at numero dos is the question. He does. It's a basic Plains into an Adanto Vanguard. Very powerful and popular card last weekend at Pro Tour Guilds of Ravnica. And it's going to be looking at a Merfolk Branchwalker that's going to do some exploring. And that Branchwalker is going to turn into a 3-2, and now we got to decide where that Wild Growth Walker is going to go. That's going to stay on top there for DeCandio. He'll pass the turn back over to Trevor. Trevor will draw a copy of Lyra Dawnbringer.
Hell yeah.
Here comes an attack
This
for
is a
3.
last call for registration for today's noon Popper
It'll be a
Challenge.
Clifftop Retreat and History of
If you would like
Analia.
to
So
play
it's a nice
today's
aggressive start here for Trevor.
Popper Challenge, please.
And so
make
get
your
a
way
knight,
to the side event
and we're going to head back over to
registration
Brennan.
stage. Additionally, players in the 1030 Sealed Spectacular, your pairings for your next round are being posted at the gathering point. Please make your way to your seats. Again, players in the 1030 Sealed Spectacular, your next
It'll be a
round
Wild
pairings
Growth Walker.
are going
An
on.
overgrown 2-minute on the battlefield tapped, and Brennan's going to play a little bit of defense here because he's underneath a little bit of pressure. History of Benalia should go up to Chapter 2, and it will. And now there's another Vigilant Knight token. Here comes the Adanto Vanguard. Let's go over to DeCandio. Picked up a copy of Eldest Reborn. Land number 4 is a Swamp. And DeCandio's just going to pass the turn, huh? Maybe with a Vraska's Contempt at the ready, as now we head back over to Trevor. Chapter 3 on History of Benalia is going to give those Knight tokens +2/+1 now. And now everybody's coming in. There's a block there. And a Vraska's Contempt there. So Adanto Vanguard will bite the dust. Branchwalker and a Knight token will trade, and 4 damage will come across. So it'll actually be a total of 2 that comes across when all is said and done there.
Yeah, not the worst here for DeCandio.
And now DeCandio is really going to turn up the heat here with some powerful cards. He'll play a copy of the Eldest Reborn. And now here comes Wild Growth Walker, which is going to get hit with a Seal Away. In exchange, I don't think DeCandio really minds all that much.
Does not care. He's just going to run Trevor out of things to do. Any 1-for-1 exchange is just totally acceptable.
Eldritch Reborn will go up to Chapter 2, which means Trevor does need to discard a card now. He's just going to figure out exactly what he wants to discard here. But he's in some serious trouble. It was a good aggressive start, but he couldn't do anything past that.
Can't discard the Lyra because you can't beat it.
No. Settle the Wreckage will go into the graveyard. And it looks like Trevor just has a very disjointed approach to this game and matchup. You saw the aggressive start with the Vanguard and History Benalia, and now he's also played a Seal Away and discarding a Settle. So it looks like he's just trying to do a little bit too much.
Yeah, he's trying to split the difference, and I understand, that there's some threats in DeCandio's deck that Trevor's not that well set up to manage, and so you need to have just some broad-based removal like Seal Away and Settle. But yeah, you get these hands that are 3 lands, 2 attacking creatures, and 2 defensive removal spells, and it's really hard to piece together a meaningful game plan.
Overgrown Tomb is going to end the battlefield tap there for DeCandio, and now we're going to head back over to Trevor. There's down to a Vanguard. And pass that turn back. Let's go back over to DeCandio. Carnage Tyrant the draw. But first, Eldritch Reborn's going to return a Merfolk Branchwalker. Trigger the Explorer. Top card of the deck is another Branchwalker. And that Branchwalker is going to be placed into the graveyard. There's a land for the turn. There's a big old dinosaur. Carnage Tyrant is here. And it's ready to cause some more trouble as Rekindling Phoenix is the draw.
11 a.m.
That's 7-6. Can't be countered. It's got trample. It's got hexproof.
It's just a lot to handle, and it's not easy to handle.
No, it's not.
11 a.m. standard challenge.
And it looks like it's coming in the red zone now, right where it belongs. Looks like that Merfolk Branchwalker is going to come in as well. Looks like the Vanguard will get in front of the Branchwalker. So there are your blocks. Damage will be dealt here and all that jazz in just a moment. It looks like Vanguard's just going to die. And now there's a Golgari Findbroker, which will be countered by a Disdainful Stroke. Follow-up here is, boy, it's a find. Going to get back that Findbroker. And this is a very, very Brennan DeCandio style deck. He loves playing Golgari in the first place, but the way that he's built his Golgari deck as Resplendent Angel has shown up, but will probably go away momentarily, is it's all value all the time, man.
Yeah, and it's really hard to get much traction in these games with a text box that lines up the right way because everything answers opposing cards so cleanly.
There's Findbroker. And he's just killing all sorts of stuff now. And is going to be killing Trevor in just a moment. Yeah, this is just a lot for him to overcome as there's an Evolving Wilds. And he'll extend the hand. So, Brandon DeCandio is going to win this match over Trevor Inscho. As Golgari midrange is going to take care of Jeskai midrange rather easily. So we are going to turn our attention here to Modern in just a moment, as we want to get an eye on exactly what Ross Merriam's up to here with this Grixis Phoenix deck. You see Ross letting our table spotter know exactly what the life totals are and where we are in the game.
Do you want to hear the hits?
I'd love to hear the hitful hits.
Thing in the Ice.
Okay.
Arclight Phoenix, Crackling Drake, Faithless Looting, Chart of Course, Serum Visions, Thought Scour, Sleight of Hand, Manamorphose, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Axe, Fiery Temper, Gut Shot, some lands.
Okay.
I mean, actually having the Crackling Drake is going in.
Yeah, you're committing to this whole thing. As there's a Lightning Bolt to take care of this Eldrazi Displacer. Gonna head back over to Merriam.
I'm somewhat startled at the notion that Snapcaster Mage is not good enough for a strategy like this, even like one copy.
That is a little surprising.
But it is just pure velocity and just playing everything as fast as you possibly can.
There's a Leonin Arbiter for David McCollum. And now it might be time for a little Ghost Quarter action. What do you think about that? I think Ross is going to pay the 2 for from the Arbiter and still search up a land here.
Yeah, it's Legion Arbiter is neither a trigger nor an activated ability. It's just a thing you have to point at and acknowledge.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
One of the all-time worst cards for Magic Online.
Oh, yeah. When you get got by Legion Arbiter the first time Magic Online, it only takes once.
I stopped playing Magic Online for 9 months because of crack my Steam of my Scalding Tarn, and it's just in the graveyard.
It's gone.
I'm waiting for the Arbiter to trigger, right, to pop up, and I can pay the 2. It doesn't happen. So I'm just sitting there seething, and my opponent pops up in chat. You're the 4th person who's done that. Logged off for a while.
That's right. Just cool down. Take a break.
Yeah.
Sometimes 9 months, but take a break. Serum Visions, Russell draw 1 and scry 2. Both those cards go into the bottom of his deck. So Serum Visions is done resolving. That's a Scalding Tarn. And we're going to head back over to David McCollum, who's drawn a copy of Campbell Council Education. There's Campbell.
Ostensibly a good card against Merriam's strategy. Lots of spells, of course.
Yeah. There's that 3-mana, 2/3 Human Advisor. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So now Merriam's going to want to take care of that thing here. But first, he'll pay the 2 from the Arbiter and sacrifice.
Acknowledges the Arbiter.
Yes.
Doesn't pay for the trigger.
Yes.
Acknowledges its presence.
Yes. Letting it be known.
Yes.
Steam Fence on tap. Ouchies. Big follow-up. That'll be in a braid. There'll be a trigger there from Campbell. But it appears as though Campbell has been handled. And his life totals will change here. Now we're heading back to Merriam, who will draw. We want to see some Arc-like Phoenixes here, Ross. That's what we came for. What's he got? He's got a Thing in the Ice, but that'll suffice. Ross pretty big on Thing in the Ice right now, as are a couple other players for Star City Games leading in this weekend. Looks like Ryan Overturf, Todd Anderson, both fans of this style of strategy right now in Modern. If you hadn't had the opportunity to check out what we play, it's the select side column this week. Oftentimes isn't. But they are very big on Is It Spells right now in Modern, are Anderson and Overturf. And it appears as though Merriam is as well, as he's going to fall down to 8, however. Fatal Push taking care of that Thing in the Ice. That's a Fiery Temper. And back over to Ross we're going to go.
I think he's missing a Faithless Looting. He's sitting on a Phoenix here, and I think just trying to wait until he can get some free value here. Although if it feels the coast is clear here, I guess no reason not to cast it.
Yeah, sure. How about an Arclight Phoenix? How about some beatdowns? How about a Path to Exile? Away goes the Phoenix. Here comes the land from Merriam. They'll get a basic island, a beautiful one at that.
Crackling Drake would be the draw here.
That wouldn't be shabby. Especially in a matchup like this, Crackling Drake is actually what you kind of want to be doing. That's Path to Exile the draw there for David McCollum. We're heading back over to Ross now. This is a sleight of hand. Faithless Looting among those cards. But that's not the one he wants.
Oh!
What is he
Ral.
looking at there? Is that a Ral?
That is a Ral.
And the Viceroy? Hello. Let's take a look at this. I haven't seen this one for a little while.
Here we go.
Powerful 5-mana Planeswalker. Ross using the +1 ability on Ral. Is it Viceroy? 5 mana, 5 loyalty, +1. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand, the other into the graveyard. Spire Bluff Canal going to enter the battlefield. Tap there for Ross. The -3, Ral It's going to deal damage to target creature equal to the number of total instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard, of which there are going to be many. And then if we get to that -8, little emblem action. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this emblem deals 4 damage to any target and you draw 2 cards. Winning from there is pretty easy.
And I like having a one of like Raw on the sideboard like this because you look at so many cards that if the game drags out and you're probably bringing in Raw in matchups that drag out a little bit, you're so likely to find it.
It'll be a Flicker Wisp. Flicker Wisp will be exiling Ral momentarily. It's coming back with 5 loyalty, though. And perhaps that elevator's going up to 6 here in just a moment as Merriam will draw a card. Looks like a thing in the ice has arrived. Step 1 is Gut Shot. Going to actually pay the mana cost. Rarely do we see that. The follow-up is a Thought Scour. Thing in the ice down to 2 counters. 1 and a 2 go to the graveyard. Another one going to come to the grip. Merriam now going to use Ral. Take a look at the top 2. Scalding Tarn will go to the graveyard. Another card going to come to hand. This deck can really churn through itself, Patrick.
Yes. I mean, it's a lot of cantrips and replacements and looting and just burns over cards. You give it any sort of breathing space to use its mana like this, and it's going to have a handful of gas every single turn.
Eldrazi displays to the draw here for David McCollum.
Should it come to it, by the way, it looks like Tanning Grace and Chris Lochte are going to Game 3 in Legacy.
It does appear to be the case, as there is a Path to Exile going after Thing in the Ice. Path to Exile means that Ross is getting a land, shuffling it up, looking for Arclight Phoenixes. You see that his deck is labeled Grixis Phoenix. Got a little bit of black splash on the board for Collective Brew. Not too much past that, though.
Surgical, he can hard cast, I suppose.
Yeah.
Engineered explosives go up to 3.
Third color, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's an Eldrazi Displacer. Merriam looks like he's going to let that resolve. I mean, Ral can't just take care of that by itself.
Yep. Merriam has a Ceremonious Rejection in hand, but I'm sure clutching it for something more impactful like a Thought-Knot Seer or a Reality Smasher or what have you. He's got many ways to handle a 3/3.
Ross going to take a look at the top 2 cards. Oh, look at the value Faithless Looting being placed in the graveyard. That's what I'm talking about.
You into it?
Oh, yeah. Thing in the Ice again. Merriam determined to get one of these to stick. Now he'll play a Faithless Looting from the graveyard. Thing in the Ice is going to fall down to 3 counters. Merriam drawing 2, discarding 2 in just a moment. Now, to note, Manamorphose among those cards. Oh, the value.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot to like.
Next up, Serum Visions. Thing in the Ice down to 2 counters. He'll draw a card and scry 2. One on the top, one on the bottom. Next up here for Ross, it's a Lightning Axe. And actually discard that Manamorphose. Displacer down. Thought Scour at the ready, but Ross doesn't want to transform Thing in the Ice because it wouldn't do anything right now if he did.
Might as well float it through McCollum's turn, see if he plays anything, and then one way or the other he can start attacking the following turn.
Looks like McCollum picked up a copy of Wasteland Strangler, a little underpowered on this battlefield.
Also, I'm not sure how interested you are in processing a Faithless Looting or an Arclight Phoenix.
That's not my favorite. No. Good call, partner. Godless Shrine going to come down untapped. Are we going to shamble on over? Looks like we are. I think we're going to get a block here from Thing in the Ice, yeah. Do your worst, says Merriam. And now here comes that Wasteland Strangler.
It's processing time.
It is. What would you like to process, kind sir?
This is funny. I bet Merriam was not anticipating this coming up. Oh, there's a thing in the ice down there.
So it's
Okay,
not
never mind.
so bad.
That's fine.
Yeah. That one was hidden a little bit. But with that trigger on the stack, this will be a Thought Scour, which means that Thing in the Ice is going to transform. And actually, I think that Merriam actually has to respond. He has to respond before Wasteland Strangler actually enters the battlefield.
Right.
So now the Shambling Vent will be placed into David's hand, and now the Strangler will resolve, and Ross will be totally fine. Process this Thing in the Ice, but the Awoken Horror is bigger than what's going on here. So we head back over to Merriam now. Morale's going to go up to 8. Take a look at the top 2. A Braid will be placed in the graveyard, which means he found something better than a Braid. And it actually looks like a copy of Crackling Drake. He'll play that Drake, which you have to imagine is ginormous.
Lethal. It got to be a one-hitter.
Lightning Bolt will take care of the Strangler. In there comes the Awoken Horror. The follow-up is Chart a Course, because why not? Don't you have enough cards already, Merriam? My goodness. Ross wants to see how big this Crackling Drake is, perhaps.
Lethal. He's checking to see if he has any lands left in his deck.
Sure. Play a Scalding Tarn, pass the turn back. McCollum will draw a card. He picked up a Thalia.
A little late.
Yes. Yes.
A little late to this one.
That's right. Ross with a commanding advantage at this stage. Thalia's not going to do much. Shambling Vents the other card in hand. Dave McCollum will extend the hand as the team of Grace, Merriam, and DeCandio win their match. Team BCW 2-0 here in Las Vegas. Operation Get Tan and a Trophy still on the right path.